Hi everyone! I'm working on a pretty in-depth video about the anime Delicious in Dungeon, so I figured I'd make this so I can get something out this month. I watched every Alien movie and every Predator movie recently, and I wanted to rank them and give my thoughts on them. Hope you enjoy! Alright, let's just get right into the rankings. Recently, I watched every single Alien and Predator movie in the timeline order that they take place in, not the order they were released in, the order that they actually are in the timeline. I have them all lined up here by order. And I'm going to rank them in that order. So let's get right into it. Alright, so the first one I watched was Prey, the prequel to pretty much all the Predator movies. I really liked it overall. It was very interesting seeing kind of like the more like primitive like Predator technology, and it was really cool to have so much Native American representation in a movie like this. And a lot of the cast and crew were also actually the tribe that was being portrayed in the movie, so I thought that was really cool. I am going to actually put this one, we're going to start off really good here, putting this one in S tier. It's not the top of S tier, I would say, but it's definitely up there. The plot was compelling. They found a way to like make things still from like the older movies like seem like new and interesting, and they really just everything was it was a really good movie. I had a good time watching it. All right, now the original Predator also has to go in S tier. I'd probably put it above Prey just because it was the original. It has like a little bit more merit, I'd say. I think I said this for the last tier list I did. I might like switch things around at the very end, but right now this is what it's gonna be. So original Predator, obviously it's a great movie. It's like the very first one. This is why it's ranked so high up. Very like compelling story. I also should talk about the kills in these movies too, because those are also, it's like they're like horror movies or horror adjacent most of the time, so that's always like a big thing. Kills in it super inventive and creative. It was really cool to like see all that. It does kind of like start a little slow, but it does definitely pick up. All right, now Predator 2, not nearly as good as the first one. Still like a decent and entertaining watch though. And I did like the end of it specifically, where the main character, I forget his name. I'm not gonna remember like any of the characters' names in this video, other than like the like really main ones, like Ripley from Alien. Of course, I'm gonna know her name. But, like everybody else's might be. It's gonna be kind of hit or miss. So sorry about that. But like when the main cop guy was in like the Predator spaceship at the very end, that was really cool. And I liked how they teased Alien versus Predator like several years earlier with the xenomorph skull in the ship. I thought that was kind of fun. This movie just has like a lot of things happening. It takes place in Los Angeles, and there's like a gang war going on. It takes place in like a fictionalized 1997. But yeah, it's like it's got a lot going on. It's not a bad movie. But it's not nearly as good as the first one. I'm gonna put it in like B tier, I'd say. Like it's not terrible. It's still like a fun watch, but it's just like a lot of shit's kind of happening in it. All right, now the first Alien versus Predator movie. People have very mixed feelings about the Alien versus Predator movies. I really liked the first one personally. The second one not so much, but I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, the very first one I really enjoyed. I mean, like it started off kind of a little bit slow, and also there are a lot of characters that just exist to get killed. I mean, it kind of knows what it is. I feel like it's not trying to get you to like care about them and like try to go super into like who they are as people, because I feel like it knows what it is. It's like it knows these characters are just here to get killed. And yeah, I thought it was like really interesting. I thought the like kind of romantic thing that the main woman and the Scar, I think his name is, the Predator had. I thought that was like interesting. I also liked like the lore that this movie gave too. The only issue I have with it is that it kind of like plays into Ancient Aliens conspiracy stuff a little bit, which is very iffy if you know anything about that. Just like it stems from a lot of like really problematic shit. My personal headcanon is that like in the movie when they were like reading the hieroglyphics that like told the story with that, they just like misinterpreted them. So they got part of it wrong. So yeah, I'd say this is like decently solid in my opinion. I'm gonna put this one in A tier. I cannot say the same for the second one, unfortunately. It is not nearly as good as the first one. It is a lot more violent. I forgot to mention AVP, like the theatrical version. I've watched the theatrical versions for all of these just because like those were the most like readily available. Theatrical version of AVP, it is very tame because it's PG-13 with like the blood and the kills and stuff like that. Requiem is better in that regard. There's a lot more like violent shit. So there was a lot more on that. That was good. Everything else, not everything else. The Predalien was really cool too, like the Predator Xenomorph hybrid. That was cool. Two really big things about this movie that I hated were it was super fucking dark the whole time. You could not see anything, so you could barely see the fucking Predalien anytime it was on screen. And it like really tried to make you care about the characters, even though like it just was not working at all. Like I did not give a shit about anybody in this movie, basically. I did not get attached to any of them, but it was like really trying, and that was like just kind of annoying. But yeah, it is significantly worse than the original AVP. I think it is really fucking funny that they like nuke a town at the end of this. If you don't know, basically like a bunch of xenomorphs get loose in like a town on Earth. And, like, by the end of the movie, the government gets involved, and their solution is just nuking the fucking town, which I just think is really funny. But, yeah, other than that, this is gonna go in D tier. It just wasn't that good of a movie. Alright, Predators from 2010. Alright, so this one, it wasn't too bad. It was pretty decent. The characters were, like, okay. I do think it's interesting how, like, the main character's, like taken to, like, an alien planet that was essentially just, like, a hunting ground. I thought that was interesting. I thought the hierarchy that was established between the Yautja, which is, like, the species of what the actual predators are. I thought, like, the Yautja hierarchy that was kind of established. I thought that was interesting. But, yeah, it's not, like, it's an enjoyable watch, but it's not, like, really anything super amazing. I'm gonna put it also in B tier. I'd say probably, I don't know if I'd say these are equal or if I'd say one is above the other. I'd say these are probably, like, equal, but I might change that a little bit later. Okay, now, this fucking movie, The Predator from 2018, it is so awful. I'm putting it in F tier. This is the worst movie, not the worst movie I've ever seen, probably, but, like, it is the worst movie out of this entire, like, franchise. One of the main problems I have with this movie is one of the main character's son is autistic, and I'm not autistic myself, but I know several autistic people. I've talked to them about how this movie portrays autism, and it is just really bad. They do, like, the movie thing where they kind of, like, make the kids' autism almost like a superpower. And I was gonna let some of the things slide until it became, like, literally integral to the plot. So basically, the main thing with this movie is there's, like, these, like, super predators that basically, like, go around collecting, like, the best parts of different species, using them, like, upgrade themselves, basically. And the super predator in this movie goes after the autistic kid because the movie is framing autism as, like, the next step in human evolution, which is just has so many, like, problematic things associated with it. It's just so bad. Also, the movie, like, several of the characters have, like, mental disorders or, like, mentally ill, and that's also just portrayed so terribly. They also try to make the whole movie, like, a comedy, which just does not work at all. Like, there are ways to, like, work jokes into these movies and make it, like, feel coherent still, but this movie just really, like, forced it, and it was bad. And also, the 90% of the kills are just, like, boring and uncreative. Again, that's, like, a weird thing to complain about, but, like, as a horror movie fan, that's something I care about. And, like, there's only, like, 2 kills in this movie that were, like, interesting, basically. So yeah, fuck this movie. I edited the tier list. Originally, this tier said E, but I changed it to F specifically for this movie, just because it's just so awful. Now, on a better note, let's talk about Prometheus, the first of the, like, purely alien section of the timeline. The timeline's kind of split into 2. There's, like, half of it that's Predator for the most part, and then half of it that's Alien for the most part. So yeah, now we're starting to get into the actual, like, the purely alien section of the timeline. I liked Prometheus a decent bit. There are people that don't, just because, like, some of the characters do make, like, stupid decisions, and there's, like, some weird shit going on. Just like that doesn't like really add up. But I generally liked Prometheus. I'm gonna put it in A tier. I don't know if I should put it above AVP or not. Yeah, I'm gonna put it above AVP. But yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was like an interesting new way to like do something with like the Alien franchise. And yeah, like there are some people that complain like, oh, why are there no like xenomorphs in the movie, just like things that are like xenomorph adjacent. But I honestly enjoy that part of the movie. Like I think it's interesting to kind of like flesh out this subset of creatures. I just think that's kind of like cool. And also the whole thing with like the engineers I think is just like pretty interesting too. Now, the direct sequel to Prometheus, Alien Covenant, I also really, really liked. This one's gonna go in... Nope, let me scroll up. Hold on. Not in A tier. This one's gonna go in S tier, actually. I'm gonna put it above Prey also. I really loved Alien Covenant. It builds upon, like, I think Prometheus. It makes, like, the continuing plot threads like even better. Like the android in Prometheus, David, he is like, you know, kind of evil in Prometheus, not like straight up evil, but in Alien Covenant he's like straight up evil. And like I honestly really loved him as a character. Like obviously I hated him as like a person, but I loved him as a character. He was just like, yeah, he was just like such a good villain for the movie. And I also thought all of like the different like offshoots of Xenomorph were really interesting. Like I said, same kind of deal with Prometheus. People complained that there weren't like true Xenomorphs in Alien Covenant for the most part, but I enjoyed that kind of. I kind of like how it keeps like fleshing out this, not species, but this kind of like, again, like subset of creatures. So yeah, that was, I really liked that. That was good. Now, the original Alien. Obviously, this is a great movie. If I'm being really honest, this might be controversial. I don't know, not B tier. No, I'm putting it in A tier. Yeah, I have to put it above the other two. Like, I kind of have to. But, like, I'm not putting it in S tier. It is a very good movie, but, like, the end of it, like, kind of drags a little bit if I'm, like, being super, super honest. But it is, you know, obviously, like, the first movie that was, like, released in this entire franchise. And it is obviously like a masterpiece that has inspired like many, many films. And like Ripley as a character is like absolutely incredible. She's so great. But like the ending is like, it does kind of drag a little bit. And I just kind of like the stories of some of the other ones in S tier just like kept me engaged a little bit better. All of this is just my personal opinion, so please do not come at me. Alien is though like still a very, very good movie. Hence why it's in the top of A tier. Aliens, the second one, this is definitely going in S tier. Where should I put this in S tier, actually? I'm gonna put it in front of Predator. Actually, I'm gonna swap these two. Alright, so, Aliens, it basically takes, like, what started in Alien and makes it, like, so much better. Not so much better, but like it just like expands upon what is already there and is like, a lot of people do say like it's better than the original. I agree with that, honestly. I liked a decent few of the characters that they introduced. I really like Newt, the little girl that Ripley kind of like takes care of throughout the movie. And yeah, it was just like a really, you know, it was just like a good movie. It was very like 80s feeling though. You can just like feel that it was made in the 80s. It's not like a bad thing. You could just like kind of tell. I don't really know how to explain it. I think it's just like the kind of like the tone of things, but it's not a bad thing. I'm just like, it's just a thing. And then also, of course, like the first, technically not the first in like the timeline of these movies, like the first like first time in real life we got to see like the Alien Queen. That was super cool too. So yeah, it's a very, very good movie. Alien 3 is not a very, very good movie. I'm going to also put this in D tier. I'm going to put it above Requiem still, but it is still like very bad. It's very like disjointed in like some aspects. The like prison setting I thought was gonna be interesting, but it just is like it just doesn't really work. It's also like the first hour is like incredibly, incredibly slow. The second hour like picks up a bit, and by the very like end, like ending like 20 minutes is where it gets like really, really good. I do also like the decision to kill Ripley off here. Like I just thought that was like interesting. I thought it was like a kind of like fitting end to her like story, especially since she like you know, got a chest burster in, or I felt like that was like very fitting. But yeah, also the thing with this movie, the special effects are just so bad. Like the other movies, I've let it slide just because of like the time and everything. Like Alien, and Predator, like all of them kind of have like, you know, somewhat iffy special effects at times. But that's just because like that's what they had at the time. Alien 3, it like just looks way cheaper than the other movies. Like the special effects just look worse. Like even for the time, it just looks like worse overall. They tried doing like a CGI xenomorph for like some like the chase scenes, and it just does not look great. Like they worked with what they had, but like some of it just does not look very great, especially compared to like the other movies that came out sooner than Alien 3, and they had like better special effects overall. A lot of like the close-up shots with the xenomorphs, those looked very good because it looks like they still use like practical stuff for that and didn't just like CGI it in. So those were still very good, as they usually are. The final movie on our list is Alien Resurrection. A lot of people also think this one is very bad. This is going to be a very, very controversial decision. I am putting this movie in S tier. I don't know where exactly I should put it in S tier. Let's see. I'm trying to think if I liked it better than mainly the two Predator movies up here. I'm gonna put it in ahead of... Should I? I don't know. I might change that around in a little bit. I very much enjoyed this movie. A lot of people say it like assassinated Ripley's character, which I don't really agree with because it's not actually like the original Ripley, because the original Ripley died in Alien 3. It's a clone of Ripley, and like I think it makes sense that she would act differently because she is a clone and such. I just like really enjoyed this movie. Like I don't know, I thought Winona Ryder was really cool in it. I liked her. It's an android. I thought that was really fun. And I also liked the weird ass human xenomorph hybrid that was in the movie that like the like alien queen like gives birth to, essentially. Like that thing was really like cool and weird. But yeah, like this is definitely a hot take. Like the other ones on this list is like people probably generally would agree with for the most part. But this is certainly a hot take. I like really enjoyed this movie. I watched it like yesterday actually, as of recording this, and it was just actually not yesterday, the day before. But like I just really liked it. I don't know how else to say. A lot of like the main characters I like got invested in pretty quickly. Like I don't really know how the movie like accomplishes that necessarily. I got invested in the characters, and I don't think some of like the comedy in the movie was like some of the comedy in the movie didn't like totally land with me, but like some of it like it felt kind of in place, and like I feel like Ripley, like the clone of Ripley, was like mostly like reasonably in character, because again, not original Ellen Ripley, it's a clone of her, so I feel like it's reasonable for her to be different. But yeah, I'm gonna leave everything I think where it is. That's the final ranking. I'd say yeah, that's pretty much it. We got final ranking. Aliens is in the top spot, then Covenant, Resurrection, Original Predator, Prey, A tier, Alien, Prometheus, AVP, B tier, Predator 2, and Predators, D tier, Alien 3, and Requiem, and then F tier, because this movie was a flaming pile of hot garbage, The Predator. Yeah, that's it. Back to you, little animated version of me. I had a really good time working on this video. It felt very relaxed and low stakes, so I might do more of this kind of thing in the future. If anyone has suggestions for movies I should talk about, leave them in the comments down below. That's all for now. Bye!